right, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining this week, or actually this episode, not this week, although we were doing weekly episodes. This episode,
We'll hopefully be back to that.
yes, we have done all of the classifications and we are finishing it up on a Tuesday night with our 6A brackets. And, it is always fun to talk 6A or 7A. It's been 7A for a number of years. For those of you that are new to the state of Georgia, it was 7A for a number of years. Now it's moved down to 6A. Most of the 7A schools went down to 6A. And we get to still have the good old conversation of why Lucas De Silva hates Camden County. We'll get to that in a second. I'm not going to do that now, but that's going to be actually a theme throughout this conversation, which is always a ton of fun to talk about. Before we get to 6A, I want to make sure that I tell everyone, one, go watch 1 through 5A. We actually had a lot of fun having conversations and talking about who we think is going to run through or who Lucas thinks is going to go through. I kind of give my opinions, that sort of thing, but not like Lucas does.
I actually pick you just cower and hide behind the error of not picking and being impartial and all that nonsense.
I
I
love the
make picks.
cower and hide behind. I love that. That is great. Not that you're slinging any arrows my direction there.
I
Um,
would never do such a thing.
um,
My my humility will not allow me to do so.
oh yeah, that's right. He does understand words though, so don't take him by what he says there. All right. Before we
It's
jump
a
into
work,
this,
brother. It's a work.
so before we do this, I want to make sure that we give a shout out to a few individuals, and we're going to headline this sponsoring this episode with Bambinelli's Pizza and Pasta. The reason being, obviously, before I get to Bambinelli's Pizza and Pasta, I want everybody to know that there's a number of different sponsors: Takedown, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Certified Finishes. There's a bunch of them, and they all have been really important to helping facilitate lots of different parts of the state tournament that's coming up. So we really appreciate them stepping up. Every one of them has an affiliation or a link to the wrestling community. That's why they do it. Maximus Management, which is Rocky Kaufman, used to wrestle, Certified Finishes with the Dendy family, obviously have a long connection to, to wrestling and everything else. So there's a lot of connections to the wrestling community through these sponsors. And that's true with our headliner here with Bambinelli's Pizza and Pasta, which I haven't had an opportunity to visit yet, but I hope I get an invitation at some point in time because I would love to go up and sample it. You know what I mean? Have you ever been in?
I've never got one either, but whatever.
Well, I understand why they wouldn't invite you, but me? Come on now.
Okay. Okay. Don't worry
All
about it. I
right.
got some for you. Watch this. Don't worry about it.
All right. So we're gonna jump into this, and Lucas is not gonna pick Camden County. That is just forever. That is a thing.
I
I
am
don't know how you
saving the rant.
don't
Well,
pick
you don't
Camden
know that.
County.
We don't know that. I might pick them. Maybe this is the year I
There
turn
is
a new
no way
leaf.
you're picking them. Did you fall down and hit your head?
No, but man, I've had so much success in life, and sometimes you enter a new season in life and you change your old ways of holding grudges and just all these things that we don't know if I'm going to do. They have to watch the
Oh,
whole video.
you know what? I would not put money on that, but we'll see at the end. I will say, and the reason I brought that up is because Camden County brings all 14. They have 12 sectional champs. Yes, I mean, look, Buford is a really great program, right? You've got a really good program. Mill Creek will have several state champions like they did a year ago. You're going to have Colquitt County. You got West Forsyth. You got all these different programs that are in there. Um, But the standard bearers, I mean, for a long time now, have been Camden County. We'll see how this plays out at the end. Also, just to give everybody a heads
I
up,
was gonna say, just state the obvious. I mean, we all know this. I mean, I had to deal with these SOBs. Like I had to deal with them.
right,
Right?
way back then. All right, so we begin at 106, and honestly, we have returning state champion in Taquavius Mills. We have a freshman stud in Cooper McArthur who pushed him in a 4-3 sectional match, sectional final match. You got a really talented Noah Scott from Lowndes. You have a new face from Camden County, Clayton Newton, who won the sectional, but he wasn't their 106 at state duel. So or at least he wasn't against Cooper McArthur. McArthur pinned somebody else. You got Angel
Yeah.
Ayala, who was a returning state placer, and you've got a young man by the name of Derek Kiefer from West Forsyth, who's a freshman, who's also another one you want to keep an eye on. So, how do you see 106 playing out? Is it going to be the returning state champ? Is it a new face? What's going to happen?
So I think 106 is really important in the team race, especially for a team like Mill Creek and Buford. If you do want to make a run, for a couple of the teams in the mid tier that want to make a run to a trophy. But to start with my dark horse, I really like Colt Snook out of North Forsyth. Met him a couple of years ago before he was in high school, obviously. Well coached, obviously, in Gerard and the crew from North Forsyth. I'm going to take him as my dark horse. Give me Mills to win and give me take the freshman Cooper McArthur to get there to meet him.
Love that. All right. MacArthur he is tough. He's a tough freshman, and that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. So, all right, let's jump to 113 pounds, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm completely surprised to see Bradley Patterson wrestling at 113 pounds for a state title. He is a returning state champion. I think he's won it twice before. So at 106 and 113. I think he could have won it at 120. I don't know if he fits better in the lineup, so that's why he's down there. He was ranked third in the country. Look, Jesse Sutton White from Carrollton, David Ayala, Jacob Chan, right? Carter Anderson, all good wrestlers. I just don't know. I don't know that there's a better 113 around. I mean, Bradley was a Super 32 All-American at 113 pounds. So this just, I mean, his biggest battle might be against the scale much than anything else. And I should say,
Honestly,
Christopher Metz for Buford won sectionals. He is a freshman. He is super talented. He's just not at the level of Bradley Patterson.
I was about to say that let's make mention of Christopher Metz. Obviously younger brother of Joseph Metz and the crew that was at Pinecrest.
Right.
Or Pink. It was Pinecrest, correct?
I think so. Yeah, it was Pinecrest. Now
Yeah.
they're both at West Point.
Yep. Shout out to them. And Chris is obviously looking on a similar trajectory. The kid's super tough, well trained, and just a hell of a family. All three of them. I'm going to take Patterson over Metz in the finals. And in terms of dark horse, big one here for me, Sutton White of Carrollton. I think he's going to be big for their chance to try to make a run to the top four.
So I love that in that Sutton White, for those of you that don't know, Patterson took fourth in his sectional. And I don't know if he was hurt or whatever the case was, but he drew Sutton White in the first round of sectionals, pinned him, and then White went on a run and won every single match on his way back through. So Sutton White is definitely someone who, if he had been on the opposite side, might be sitting,
In a better draw.
2 spot instead of the 3 spot, honestly. All right, moving to 120 pounds. This is an interesting weight. Marquavius Lane, who was a section runner-up, was third a year ago from Valdosta. Grant Dite was sixth last year for South Forsyth. But it is an Isaac Santos who is new to the lineup for Camden County, who looks superb at state duels. He sits there. I love a freshman in Ty Valenzuela from Harrison. You got a returning state champ and Robert Magana from Chapel Hill who finished fifth in the section. Now remember, Chapel Hill was down in 6A when it was below 7A last year. So he wasn't wrestling these individuals when he was making his run for a state title, but definitely he's already been to the top step. So how is 120 playing out?
He's a super interesting bracket, in a lot of ways. I'm gonna take, I'm gonna take Isaac Santos to win it. Give me Ty Valenzuela to meet him there in the finals.
Ooh, a freshman making a run.
And speaking of another run, give me Arcadian Eaton as the dark horse for North Forsyth. Kid that 34-10, that record does not show to me how good he is. I think Valenzuela beats him. Then I look at his run the rest of the way. To me, it's all winnable matches. I see him getting on the podium for the Raiders.
All right, which is also a team that was in 6A a year ago and is now
Mm-hmm.
is now at the biggest classification this year. So, yeah, and just so everybody knows, I'm looking at last year or the section brackets from last week. Valenzuela lost to Santos 5-0 in the semis. So, Santos beat Lane 4-0 in the finals, but that tells me there's not a significant difference, right? I mean, five is nice, but it's
Yeah.
not like he got tagged. It's not like he got run over, right? He freaking went out there and competed and that sort of thing. So 120 is gonna be fun. All right, moving to 126. I think we have two-time state runner-up DJ Clark from Buford. He's lost twice to Bradley Patterson, I believe, who enters as probably the favorite. You got a freshman from Camden County who's a section champ, and Kane Smolarski, who's looked really, really good. And then again, other individuals in this group, Cruz Grijalva from Colquitt County, Jeremiah Toe, Centillo, like there's a number of different individuals, but it looks to me like DJ Clark is the favorite heading in.
I mean, yeah. I don't think that there's too much discussion to be had there. I'm gonna pick Clark to win it. That top side is super interesting. I'm actually going to take Jeremiah Toe from Archer to get to the finals. And for my dark horse, I really, and this is where maybe some bias, I don't care. I've got to work really closely with Elijah Scott from Collins Hill. I look at his run, it's not, even if he wins and then drops, the drop is not horrible. I think Elijah Scott will get on the podium for Collins Hill. That's my boy. Shout out to Elijah.
Well, and Elijah lost to Toe 13-10 in the semis last week. So not somebody who certainly if you're picking Toe to get to the finals, no reason to think that Scott doesn't have the ability to make the podium. All right. Moving to 132 pounds, the single deepest weight in 6A, maybe the deepest weight in the tournament, right?
This is the deepest weight in the state, bar none.
So you got what? Seven returning state placers. You've got state champion, two-time state champion Antonio Mills from Mill Creek. You've got state runner-up in Karen McCormick. You've got state placers in Brandon Higgins, Carmel Thompson, Nicholas Owens, Ryder Gibson, Gilbert Balbuena. I mean, look, put them all in a room, see who comes out. I mean, that is if you are a wrestling fan, that you want to watch all of those matches.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like for one time only, can we make a round robin for the state tournament? 'Cause I kind of want to see all of them wrestle each other. Can we just agree like a 12-man round robin over 4 days? I'm in.
That would be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but this one was really tough. Antonio Mills is going to win. I'm going to pick him to win it. I'm going to take Higgins to come out of that top side, but I'm going to be honest. McCormick, White, or Owens could knock him off that track. Like all three, that order to me is ridiculous. And with that being said, I'm going to take Owens as my dark horse, but Judah White can go. And I like that first round match. I'm trying to look back through my notes. That might be my favorite first round match in the entire state.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I mean, I think you're absolutely right. Like I mean, Mills is the man. I mean, he is committed to the University of Missouri. He is, but again, like nothing's given. Last year, if you remember, in the state semifinals, I believe it was, Higgins nearly beat him because he was on top and was turning. I think he turned him once or twice. And I'll tell you what, if you got 4 point near fall this year, and you get somebody
It
like
changes.
you get Higgins on top and then taking you over, you get. I mean, things can get hairy. So this is just a really, really, really good weight. All right, jump it to 138 pounds. And ladies and gentlemen, if you can't watch any other 138 pounds simply because of three names. Hunter Prosen, Camden County, two-time state champion. Maddox McArthur, Buford, two-time state champion. Blue Stiffler, Mill Creek, two-time state champion, and didn't win it last year. He was a state champion in South Carolina as a freshman and Georgia as a sophomore. We have 3 two-timers in the bracket. McArthur forfeited to Stifler in the finals. And to me, that's big because that means that McArthur and Prosen have to probably go through one another. I mean, there could be somebody else, but I really believe it's going to be the two of them. They're going to have to win to get a shot at Stifler, which has to make you think that Stifler is in a great spot to win it. That's the way
Does and it does, but this is so tough for me because MacArthur forfeiting the blue almost is like a how do I say it's a BDE move. I'm not gonna say what type of energy it is, but it's a BD energy move to me, and here's why. Because he's saying I can go through Prosen and beat you. Like to me, it's almost more of a like which is weird because I'm usually the one that's like boo forfeit in sectionals. I usually am that guy, and I still am that guy. But in this one case, it's almost like you have a set of nuts on you doing that, knowing that you're probably going to now have to see Hunter Prosen
unless he got hurt, and that's the
both
reason.
times.
Well, right, and that's the part that's
Both
weird.
times.
He didn't forfeit any other match, and he forfeited in the area final and in the region final, or in the
If
sectional
you,
final, or maybe he just wants
it,
to avoid him. I don't know. Maybe he wants to wait until that state final because he's got something up his sleeve. I mean,
like
what
that's
is
what
it?
I'm thinking is that he's got a game plan and man, look, if you really believe he got hurt both times and just so happened to be ready to go the next week, I,
You
I
don't believe
have
it.
some lovely products to sell to you.
All right.
Uh,
So how, you know what? Actually, first, those three names we've talked about. All right. Give me somebody off the radar who's your dark horse.
I love the freshman out of Walton, Nathaniel Park. I love that kid. I think he gets through to the podium in some configuration. Him and Jackson Lane in the semifinals, I think, or in the quarterfinals to me is a hoot.
Okay. All right. So now what's your final and who's your pick?
MacArthur or Stifler?
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know. This is one of those where you know what? Hell, in the words, in the words of Tyrion Lannister from Game of Thrones, I'll let the gods decide my fate. Where's one of my D3s? I'll let the gods decide my fate. I don't care. I'm getting the dice. I'm not doing this. I don't know.
Are you getting dice? Is that what you're doing?
Yes, I'm rolling a die. I can't find a D3 to save my life right now.
I do love the pick though. I mean, I think you can make the argument in any way, shape, or form, but I don't hate that pick. I mean, to do that though and win both those matches. Now, that said, all three of these individuals have been in on big stages before. They know
All
what
right,
this is.
Alex.
They've had to wrestle this quality.
I'm picking McArthur over Blue. The gods decided the fate for me. I'm picking it.
All right. All right. We're talking about like back to back beating those individuals, but all these individuals have wrestled in great tournaments where they've had to beat
Oh, all
back to
three
back.
of them are incredible. All three of them. And all three of them deserve their flowers.
All right, we move to 144 pounds. One of the four individuals that is hunting a fourth state title is Drew Gorman from Buford. He comes in as the heavy favorite. You've got Rod Zhao from Camden County, who's a returning state runner-up. I really liked watching Kevin Heath from Grayson. I watched his match against Gorman in the finals of sectionals. Ian Stevens is down there as a returning state placer. But I mean, it's Gorman, right? I mean,
Yeah. I mean, it's Drew Gorman. I'm going to pick Gorman over Zhao. And I really like Necula and Heath. But like I said, I'm going to pick my dark horses off of the 1 and the 2 line. Give me Lawton Browder out of Denmark. I like that kid a lot. I think he matches up well with Heath too. So if they meet in the quarters, but give me Browder to make the run. Zhao, I think, is a hell of a guy, a hell of a wrestler who I really didn't know too much about going in this season. But it's Drew Gorman. It's
uh,
Drew Gorman.
yeah. All right, moving to 150 pounds. We have returning state champion Logan Paradise. Paradise probably would be in the hunt for a fourth state title as well, but he was out, went to Baylor for a year, and is now back in the state of Georgia. We've got KJ Jett from Brookwood, who is the other section champ. I think he was a state champion way back when he was a freshman, and then has been on the podium other times. Waylon Rogier, who is a returning state placer or a returning state runner-up, who lost Gorman in the finals a year ago. But I will say, I mean, just to give you a measuring stick, right? At state duels, Gorman beat Jett like 22-19. Okay. And I'm telling you right now, if that's how that is, there's nothing to think that Jett can't go with Logan Paradise. Not saying I'm
Yeah.
picking him. I'm just saying that should give you some context.
So this is one of those matches where I'm picking Paradise to win it. So Camden does this thing every year. There's one guy who we look at and they've had a great season. They should make the finals. They should win a title. But damn it, Camden wins law. They find a way. I think Rozier gets to the state finals.
But loses
Drops the Paradise. Give me, though, Trey Gregory at a Buford as my dark horse.
Okay.
I think he's super important for Buford's title hopes. If he can get on the podium, I think it's a big deal. And I think he will.
All right. I love that. All right. Moving to 157 pounds. We have 5 returning state placers at the weight, 4 other state qualifiers at the weight. With that said, it looks like Brock Weaver is probably the favorite from out of Camden County. Although I will say Weaver and Stevens, I think in the semifinals was a close match in their sectional, and I could be wrong.
No, 10-6 in overtime.
10. So I mean, and they went to overtime. So, you got a number of different individuals there who could make a run and could make some noise. How does 57 play out?
Weaver to win it, Stevens to meet him there in the finals, and my dark horse is Callum McCormick out of Buford. I will admit there was a little bit tonight where I had Javon Bateman as my pick to get to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is one of those where I just think that's the way that this will play out.
I'm with you. All right. I like it. All right. So moving to 165 pounds. Um, Someone who has been, I think, a state runner-up at least once, maybe more than once, and certainly looks as if he is he's just a really talented wrestler and everything else. And that is Anton Glasgow from Parkview. You've got some other talented individuals, Coppage from Camden County, Russell Flowers from Colquitt County, Jacob Taylor, Dylan Frierson. But I would venture to guess not many people in the state want to meet Anton Glasgow um, this weekend. So
I don't think so either. I think Glasgow wins it. I'm gonna go Jacob Taylor from Rockdale to make the finals. I think he matches up well with Coppage, and this could also just be I don't want to pick another Camden guy, damn it, so I'm picking someone else. But I'm gonna take him there, and then give me Jake Ream as my dark horse, even though to me that's not even really it shouldn't be a dark horse, but this weight is so deep that he's on the 3 line. Him and Flowers is a quarterfinal to me.
that's a
If
good
I told you to
quarterfinal.
start, if I told you to start the year, Ream versus Flowers is a state finals match, you could see a world where that happens. It's just this weight is so deep that just the way it worked out.
I agree with you. I agree with you. All right, so let's move to 175 pounds. And I don't know. I think, I mean, not to take, I mean, I think Gorman's right there. I think, a number of different individuals are right there.
Dominic Bambinelli is the best wrestler in the state of Georgia.
He
Just
is.
say what you want to say.
He
And
is.
I think he has the at this point winning Doc B, Super 32, the running had there. Uh, I just think it's him.
I think it's him too. And the thing I love about Dom is that he'll go wrestle anybody. Like he loves the
Hey, no, he
competition.
don't care.
He
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 doesn't
will
care.
he will seek out the competition. I mean, he has a loss on his record in the last 2 years in high school because he sought out Ryder Wilder to get that match. And what a 4-2 match I think it ended up being. But that's so awesome. That's the type of individual you just love to go and watch compete. So if Bambinelli is your champion, who does he meet in the finals, and who's your dark horse? Who's somebody that like might surprise a few people? And I got somebody for you after you pick your dark horse.
So I think he meets Brian Wright from Camden in the finals. My dark horse, I mean, there's a lot of good ones this bracket. A guy like a Michael Heath from Brookwood can go. Hillgrove's Demetrius Hayward, but the guy I'm going to pick, Colin Kelly from North Forsyth, a tested guy who we've seen time and time again compete well, and you see him at duels, beats Hope and Dennis. I just think that Kelly is the guy, and I think he'll get on the podium for the Raiders.
So you said actually my name that I thought you might not say, and that is Demetrius Haywood from Hillgrove. I think that
Haywood's tough, man.
he's somebody that you don't want to look past, definitely. So anyway, all right. Moving to 190 pounds, returning state champion Ryder Wilder. Again, I don't know that there's some talented individuals. Walter Tinney from West Forsyth, Bradford Menhorn from McEachern is actually really, really quite good. David Rudd is returning state runner-up. Jack Gaya from Buford is there as well. But like this is another one where I think, like you say, you insert the name and move left, and Ryder Wilder um is that person.
Yeah, I don't think there's really another guy to discuss here in terms of winning it. Shout out everyone else in the bracket, but Ryder is like that. I mean, Ryder is one of the few guys that I've met that the way he looks at wrestling is very interesting, and the way he approaches
That's a
certain
true
matches,
statement. Yeah.
very interesting. But it's really it's the purest form of, hey, it's wrestling. I don't really care. I'm just gonna go do what I do, and if I win, great. If I don't, oh well. Like he just wrestles. He doesn't stop. I always tell a story about him coming to Elite Eight, asking me, how do you choose top in freestyle? And then 4 months later, he's in the Fargo finals and nearly beats Diak Mahalis. That's my thing about Ryder Wilder. We really don't
And
give a
that
heck.
story is 100% true. That is so funny because I was
If
there for
someone
the
doesn't
entire
believe me,
thing.
hang on. Last summer, before Elite Eight, I forget who Minions had. They had someone else. They pick Ryder up the day of the event. He comes up, he comes in, he weighs in. I'm there shooting the shit with someone. I don't know who. Just talking. Ryder walks up and he says, Lucas, got a question. If there's only 2 periods, how do I pick top? And I went, oh, you really don't know freestyle, do you? It's a great performance. Went like 4-3, 5-2, and then 3 months, 4 months later, he's in Fargo finals and nearly beats the Elijah Diakomahalis.
Well, I don't know that
Like
he
that.
had even that good of a performance at Elite Eight, but the thing I loved about it was that he took some lumps. He got beat because he didn't really understand it all that well. But he went and said, "This is not how this is going to end." He learned everything there was that he needed to know about that. Went to freaking Fargo and makes the finals in the biggest tournament, high school tournament in the world. I mean, it was crazy
And
how
again, nearly beat Elijah Diakomahalis, for God's
yeah,
sakes.
yeah. All right. So did you give me your dark horse and who he's gonna meet in the finals?
Oh, I didn't actually. Sorry. Give me Walter Tinney from West Forsyth to get there, to meet him there. And then give me McKissick from North Paulding. I know it because of where he sits. It's like, oh, he's going to lose to Ryder. Yes, but then you look at his drop down to that bottom quarter on the backside. It's not daunting per se. I think he'll get through it and get to the podium for the Wolverines.
All right. We now move to 215 and what could be one of the most interesting finals, assuming they're both there, although at least Connor McCloskey would have to get through returning Matthew Dillon from Colquitt County to get there. You got Alex Glimpf in the weight, you got Danny Freeman in the weight, you got a few others, but McCluskey versus Ronan on is two individuals who were at 190 a year ago that Ryder won, and two individuals that are now up at 215. And I think that is a superb final at 215.
I do. My dark horse here is Gaskin out of Camden. Damn it, it's Camden. They're going to find a way to probably place all 14. And it pisses me off to say that, but they probably are. And Gaskin, let me give you the Camden experience. Gaskin's going to get to the semis, lose to On, get fourth. Why? Well, I'm booking it. Cuz Camden. The only reason is cuz Camden. Um, Give me McCloskey over On, but that's a tight match. I'm gonna say McCloskey because of the experience in the state finals.
All right.
But on might be the single most explosive 215-pounder I've ever seen in my life.
And we move to 285. You got Joseph Schulze from Camden County as a returning state placer. You got Trey Butler from Buford, who's also returning state placer, number of other state qualifiers, but you had Butler who lost to Haribu. Is that how you say his name?
Haribu, yes, but let's also keep in mind he injuried out of that match, which I think is a big question mark.
Yeah.
I am going to assume health because from what I was told, it wasn't a he can't go. It's a hey, you're dinged up. There's no point in exacerbating this.
Well, and it was a
However,
1-1 match, and
yeah,
he
one
beat
one.
Schulze. He beat Schulze in the state duels in overtime. So how's it play?
Assuming health, I'm going to pick Butler to win the state title. I'm really high on Albert Butler. He's a guy that is going to be my fat and scrappy heavyweight. Like I love that kid to death. Hell of a worker. I think he'll get through Schulze again close. I think he beats Haribu. My dark horse, Archer to me is heavyweight U of sorts in Georgia. Continuously every year, their heavyweight is either elite or does better than he should. So I think Jonathan Williams, a sophomore, I think he makes the podium this year. And then you look at who graduates this year. Don't be surprised if next year we look at Jonathan Williams as a heavyweight state title contender.
Yeah, well, he's a sophomore. You also got a sophomore in Wesley Rakestraw from North Paulding. And you have a lot of seniors in the group. Orville Beckford Doofus from Mountain View, Braylon Kunker Foco from Hillgrove, who's also returning state qualifier. Definitely individuals to watch. Henry Benjamin, that sort of thing. 285 should be a lot of fun to watch. All right, so we are now down to our team top five. And I really can't wait to hear how you have this structured. So in fifth, oh,
It's a sad day. I have Paul Quinn in fifth. I have Carrollton in fourth. I have Mill Creek in third. I can't say it. I have Buford. You win this! Damn it! Yes, care. You put Camden in there with until the day that I draw my final breath. Camden will never be picked to win a state title just because they stole one from me that we should have had. I will never pick them to win one until the day they finally lose one. Then I'll pick them. They're the best team in the state. This might be the best Camden County I've ever seen. I don't care. Camden the runner-up. Buford to win it. Argue with your mother. I don't care. You put him in a one-team bracket, I'm picking the pie. You put him in Mississippi, I'm picking Van Cleve. You put him in the apocalypse, I'm picking the ashes and the death of the sun. I don't care. Camden runner-up. Buford to win it. Shout out Jess Wilder. I don't care. See you in Macon.
Well, there we go. All right. So you know what? That was, I could see where you'd be pretty good at professional wrestling, man. You build up the hype. That was nice. That was nice. A couple things I'm going to agree with you on, and that Camden is the best team in Georgia. They might be one of the best teams behind Lake Highland Prep in the entire Southeast. They're a top 50 team in the country. But you know what? Own it. I love it. I love that you picked Buford. It's not going to happen, but it's okay.
It is. And this is the thing. What's going to make me mad is I can tell you, again, if you've never seen 6A Georgia State, 7A, whatever the hell you want to call it, this is what is going to happen. Camden's going to place 13 or 14. They're going to win 3 titles. They're going to win the state tournament by 84 points. I don't care. I'm picking Buford. I don't care.
Love it.
Argue with someone else.
All right. Lucas.
And by the way, real quick, Jess Wilder and I talk a good amount. Like, I love the Camden crew. It's just out of spite.
Oh, it is.
Very simple.
It is no doubt it's out of spite. Lucas, thank you for jumping on with me for the last, 6 hours or so and talking all through this. And
Yep.
yeah, man, we're gonna get back to it in a few weeks and talk about all sorts of other things. Does that work?
Sounds good, man.
All right. Peace.
Peace.